That is one big pile of shit.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Here's an early Christmas present. The EU building in Brussels getting splattered with thousands of gallons of manure shot out of a tractor all over the regulators, neo-Marxists, and socialists that run the European Union like a technocratic dictatorship. It's great. Look at that. They're spraying them with poop. Why is this happening? Because the EU is trying to destroy their farmers. And why would you want to destroy farmers? Because if the people can't grow food independently, then you are their master. Obviously, if you take away shelter and food and water from people, then they'll do anything. You get rid of the Maslow's hierarchy. The farmers are under attack once again in the European Union. They have more regulations on them than any farmers on earth. They're constantly trying to regulate the farmers out of a living, and now the farmers are revolting because the European Union is trying to sign a trade deal with a bunch of farmers in South America that don't have any regulations on them to bring in cheap agricultural products into their country and countries. And so here you can see the European Parliament in Brussels, a massive tire fire. The entire place has been lit ablaze as thousands, approximately 10,000 farmers, march on the European Union and set it ablaze. See here a massive tire fire. Here are farmers dumping hay bales on the fire in order to keep it going. This is quite the statement. Thousands of farmers gather headquarters in Brussels to take a major stand against communism. Farmers want to break into the European Union headquarters. This is where Zelensky is currently trying to get money. Check out this clip. It's crazy. Look at that. Tractor is ready to clobber these cops. Yeah. It's a little different when the farmers get involved because these guys know how to move and to make sure that people don't move. Like here in Greece, they've blocked all of the highways. Look at this. This is what the Greek highway system looks like right now as farmers across Europe protest. It's great to see it. Mostly peaceful protests is what you'd call this. These are men who love their countries, love their nations. They want to be able to grow their food independently. And the European Union puts so many regulations on them. They're putting them out of business. They want to replace them with migrants, criminal aliens, and cheap foreign products. And you can see here, these are farmers in France shooting more manure onto the police cars here in France. It's freaking amazing. Yeah. They're ripping the European Union flags down off of the buildings. Look at that. Throwing them in the garbage. The farmers are replacing the European Union flags with French flags. 500 tractors and 10,000 farmers across the EU have gathered in Luxembourg Square to protest the trade agreement with a South American trade bloc that has no regulations, so would be able to put all these farmers out of work by flooding the European markets with cheap agriculture that, again, has no regulation backbone. Obviously, they should get rid of the regulations in Europe, of course. The regulations are only there to put these farmers out of business. Thousands of farmers, 500 tractors taking the streets of Brussels. At the heart of the outrage is the planned agreement with South American nations that would swamp European markets with cheap agricultural imports. Meanwhile, European farmers are being forced to follow the strictest environmental, labor, and food safety rules under the Green New Deal, while South American competitors face absolutely none of those constraints. So you can see why the farmers would be pissed. This is what the main square outside of the European Union looks like. Look at that. Been completely taken over by tractors. I love it when the farmers get involved. You have some members of the Swedish parliament getting in there and posing for photos with them in solidarity. And this is what it looks like at the European Union right now. Freaking crazy. Viktor Orban is one of the best populist leaders in all of Europe and all of the world, frankly. Huge friend of Donald Trump. Is saying that this is to make farmers extinct. Listen.
A gazdáknak 100%-ig van igazuk. Nekik két bajuk van most ebben a pillanatban. Az első bajuk az a Mercosur nevű csomag, ami egy szabadkereskedelmi megállapodás lenne a latin-amerikai országokkal, ami megöli a gazdákat. Tehát Magyarország azon országok közé tartozik, aki nem támogatja a Mercosurt. Sokat gondolkodtunk arról, hogy mi volna jó. Voltak erről komoly szakmai viták Magyarországon, végül is az lett a magyar álláspont, hogy ezt nem támogatjuk. Itt is minősített többségre volna szükség, és én úgy látom, hogy vagyunk elegen Mercosur ellenzők, ami lehetetlenné teszi, hogy ezt a megállapodást aláírják. A terv az, hogy a bizottság elnökasszonya még a héten ezt alá akarja írni. Ezt szerintem most itt meg kell, és meg is tudjuk akadályozni. A másik gondja a gazdáknak az a Green Deal, ami azt jelenti, hogy úgy túlszabályozzák az agrár, tehát a mezőgazdasági munkákat, hogy az komoly költséget jelent és versenyhátrányt jelent. Tehát azt kell mondanom, hogy a Mercosur megállapodással lából lövik az európai gazdákat, de még előtte jól összekötözik a lábaikat, hogy semmi esélyük ne legyen egy globális versenyben. Ezért teljesen igazuk van a gazdáknak, a magyar kormány 100%-ig a gazdák mellett van.
Viktor Orban has enormous amounts of power in Europe because Europe now is, well, turning nationalist. Nationalism is widely considered to be on the rise across Europe, marked by significant electoral gains. Nationalist, populist, far-right parties in many countries. The trend is reshaping the continent's political landscape, driven by various economic, social, and cultural factors. Yeah, like Europe being for Europeans. Okay? China's for the Chinese, Japan's for the Japanese, and Europe should be for Europeans. But unfortunately, globalism has destroyed Europe. Is it beyond repair? I'm not sure. You'd have to take some drastic action. Far-right nationalist parties have become major political forces in France, Germany, Netherlands, Australia, 6 EU countries. Mainstream influences. These parties, once on the fringe, are increasingly shaping mainstream political discourse. They have majorities in the European parliaments, the EU, based on economic anxiety, globalization, backlash, and immigration and migrant crisis, backlash against the flows of migrants and refugees, centralizing force. There you go. Farmers block road in Brussels, South American free trade deal. Another populist leader, Wilders, said it
Think
best.
of the nitrogen emission reducing policies. What do you think the real story is?
Well, I think it's leftish rubbish. The real aim here is to get rid of our farmers for some leftish nitrogen kind of agenda and to make room for even more non-Western immigrants, asylum seekers, and build houses and centers for them, and something that is totally different than the current elite is telling the people.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time. This is the revolution. The true revolution is a revolution of peoples who are tired of being flooded with foreigners and aliens. They love their countries. They don't want their countries to become part of a caliphate. They don't want their countries to become slums. They don't want their countries to be owned and operated by people who don't speak their language, people who don't care about their customs and traditions, who didn't build their lands, who come from destroyed nations and who are there to destroy their nations. People are sick of it. And this is what the return is, whether it's in the South China Sea, whether it's in Japan, or throughout Europe, or, well, of course, all through South America now. Chile just had a right-wing, massive landslide election victory. Populism is popular and on the rise for all the right reasons. We stand with the European farmers. God bless you.